Hello, everybody. Welcome back to episode 65 Talkoffamepod with their host, Kylie and I'm to have on singer, songwriter, producer, and interpreter, Rini K. Thanks for coming, Rini.
Hello. Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Of course. I'm so happy to have you on. So you are a singer-songwriter. What made you want to start doing that and being in this industry?
Yes. So honestly, I wish I had a more exciting story to tell, but I started out in middle school and I'm not athletic at all. And I really had like no interest. So I was kind of like, what do I do with my spare time? And so I did some musical theater things here and there, and I discovered I was really into the musical aspect of it. Not the best dancer, so theater wasn't going to exactly work out for me, but I picked up guitar and I just started writing like crazy. And yeah, so then I was just kind of like, you know what, I'm going to make an album because why not? And so I taught myself production, put that together. And then that kind of was how I spent my middle school years. And then I started doing online school in high school before the pandemic. And yeah, that's when I was able to like really take it like to another level in terms of being able to put time into it, start social media. And yeah, that's kind of like the boring, but, very true story of why I'm doing this and how I even ended up in it at all. Because my parents are not, and never have been part of the entertainment industry. I grew up in North Carolina, so it was not, an entertainment hub by any means. So it was kind of all accidental, just trying to find a hobby.
Yeah, that's how I was. Like before the pandemic, I was on online school. Like I did homeschool before even the pandemic. And right. I live in a small town in Pennsylvania. So
oh my gosh, no way.
Like the entertainment industry is not a big thing in Pennsylvania. Like
what part of Pennsylvania are you in? I actually have family there.
Oh, like Wilkes-Barre area?
Oh, yeah. I have family in Pittsburgh. We go there like every Christmas.
Oh, no way. I go there like at least like once a year for like a sporting event or something.
Yeah, no, awesome.
And so like I basically always knew I wanted to be in the entertainment industry, but I just didn't know what exactly I wanted to be. I literally tried so many things, like acting, singing, nothing worked. Nothing worked for me. And I was not athletic. I'm like people tell me I was not athletic. And I basically played sports throughout my childhood because because my family loves sports. Like they like basically just put me and my brother in sports because like why not go outside, be active? And my brother still plays sports now to this day, so plays baseball. And I played baseball for years, like all throughout my childhood, and I was like, I'm done with this crap. I'm just like, I don't want to play this anymore. I'm okay to like, watch, like just sit and watch and just kind of enjoy it, but not like actually playing on a field. I mean, I would like to play like on my spare time with my brother or just some friends or something, but it's not like kind of like professionally, I would say.
Right. No, I tried soccer when I was little and immediately no.
Yeah, immediately no. I tried so many sports. Like I'm the person.
Yeah. Good for you for keeping going with it.
After the first thing, I'm like, okay, I just hate this. I'm not doing this.
Exactly. Yeah. Some of us are made for it. Some of us aren't.
It's just and like my family's a sports family. Like my family's like not into the entertainment world at all. Like you said, like your family's not into the entertainment industry at all. And like I had some family that are journalists in my family. So I'm like, oh wow, it kind of has some little genes, but not professionally in the immediate side of family.
Yes.
It's all basically full of sports, all sports family, everything about sports. And now kind of that side, like the industry or whatever. I'm like, well, I guess I'm different. I mean, I love sports. And I kind of watching, enjoying. There's something fun to do, but it's not something I really enjoy doing professionally. And I was like, during the pandemic, I was like, I have all this free time. Like, I like doing school during the afternoon. Like, I'm bored. I need more time on my hands. And I'm like, why not just start a podcast and see how like that and just see
what happens?
Let's try it. And now, just doing this, I'm like, well, this is what I'm going to do now for my life.
It's funny you bring up journalism because before I did music, I was kind of like, ooh, wouldn't it be cool to be like a host on the Today Show or something? And so I was like, oh, I'm going to do broadcast journalism, and immediately found out how like difficult it is, even though music is also very difficult. But yeah, so that's awesome. It's so funny. I'm like, our stories are actually pretty connected the more I learn about you with that. So yeah, that's awesome that you're taking the podcast, like super seriously, you're going to keep going with it. And I think consistency is key and great. So props to you for that.
Girl, where I got you. So it's like so difficult. Like it's like at first I got it seriously. I was like, oh, this is gonna be so easy. Like this is gonna be the easiest thing ever.
Yeah.
Like, I'm probably not gonna take this long. I thought maybe I have to take a couple of weeks. That's a little kind of fun thing to do. But like then as time went on, I'm like, oh, this is very hard to do. I was like, I find more guests. I'm like, okay, well, this is like literally just take me hours to do. Like all the editing. Oh, the stuff to do is so very difficult. Like, you can ask me if the entertainment industry is hard, no matter what thing you're doing, it's so hard.
It is so hard. I tried the YouTube thing in 2020 with my music. I did like reaction videos and stuff. And the editing, I just am not a long form video person. I don't have the stamina for it. I'm fine with like doing short form stuff, but I literally have so much respect for people that do the YouTube thing, because once you've been there and once you know what it's like to have your videos crash and burn like in your computer and the editing fails or you can't upload it, people don't know how hard it is. So
it's so hard.
I was done. I was like, I did it for like a few months and I was like, I can't keep up with the YouTube stuff, but luckily other platforms worked out. But yeah, I mean, mad respect for anybody dealing with YouTube, because it is hard and so time consuming.
Yeah. Once I first started out the podcast, I had no clue how to edit. I had no idea. And like my sister is like really good at editing all those types of stuff. I'm like, Kara, I was like, Kara, you have to edit this video for me and teach me how to edit, because I need to learn. I don't want you to edit all these videos for me. I know you're a first time mom and you have all these other things to do. I don't want more things to play. I'm like, Kara, can at least show me how to edit or something? Like, can you show me? Because like I literally had no idea how to edit. I was like, that's the key to a podcast and videos. You need to learn how to edit, and that's something I didn't know how to do. So I was like, well, Grace, start off, Kylie. Like,
well, now you have the skill of it, you know, and like any skill you can acquire is so awesome for the entertainment industry, because people need those skills all the time. So as tedious as it is, at least you're becoming a great editor, and you know, it's another skill in the bag, which is great.
Yeah, no doubt. So you have a community that supports, never judges, and promotes inclusion and love. Why do you think it's so important to show this in today's society?
So I honestly, you know, my goal when I came, you know, started coming out with music and stuff is I never like, you know, I wanted to make sure that any community or fan base I built was going to be putting out good energy. And I think, like you said, on a worldly scale, that is so important. You know, we think about all the problems we face in society, like all the time, every day, you know, especially for certain groups of people and stuff. And it's like, wow, a lot of this could be solved if we had those values collectively as a society, as a world in general. So, you know, I think those values they're something I've carried with me my whole life. Like I was raised to, you know, believe in stuff like that. And I wanted to carry that into my music, into what I do, because even though I'm just one person, one artist, you know, anything that I do believe in good karma and stuff. And I do think that when we put out that energy ourselves, especially if we kind of ripple it across other people, then it's going to have a larger effect eventually. And yeah, I mean, I just, you know, so many issues could be solved if people were just came out of a place of love rather than a place of hate. So very important values for me, for sure.
Oh my God, I love that. I couldn't really agree more. That's how I was. Like I grew up, I really grew up with a family that was like, you need to love, you need to treat people how you want to be treated. Like, don't hate on yourself. Like you're a person. Like if someone's going through a hard time, be there for them. Like even if you're going through something yourself, like this, like be strong, be there for the significant other that's going through something. Even if it's like your friend, boyfriend, girlfriend, cousin, uncle, your parent or grandparent.
Strangers, you know, literally. Like, it's crazy.
Just like be there, like just like
exactly.
You know, like
just be a good human.
Like, even though like I was literally talking this to my cousin a couple of days ago, I was like, I hate this. My life sucks. I was like, I'm so stressed. Like I just hate this. Like I was complaining, going on and on.
Right.
And then he stopped me, and he was like, Kylie, like you need to think, you need to stay positive. Like you gotta keep hating on yourself. If you're gonna go keep on hating yourself, it's literally gonna kill you inside.
Absolutely. Especially in an industry like this. Like, I mean, I know for me personally, like I went through it mentally last year. I moved, I developed like a chronic skin condition, which was scary. So I had it rough with my mental health last year. And I experienced like getting mass hate on the internet for like the first time ever. So that was like shocking. So yeah, you know, it's like you end up having to like kind of start rewiring your brain a bit to kind of like, instead of looking at things from the negative angle, you have to look at things through the gratitude lens and, you know, through, you know, basically just trying to turn anything that you see into somehow a positive thing. Cause it's, you know, it's not even just the entertainment industry, but it's just a very toxic, negative world we live in.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's like, I mean, that's why I had to start getting into practices like journaling, manifestations and stuff. Cause I'm like, it's rough out here. If you don't like, if you're not able to program your brain differently to like think about it in a different way, it is so hard to survive. So yeah, totally 100%. We all need that reminder though, because sometimes things just get rough. We just can't.
Yeah, exactly.
It's hard. We all know. We've all been there. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. 100%. So yeah. You kind of talked about this before. You came out with an album called 6 and 7. What kind of inspired you to write the album and stuff like that?
Yeah, so 6 and 7 is an interesting story. Pretty much that was my middle school album, and that's I wrote it primarily in 6th and 7th grade. So that was me thinking I was clever, calling it 6 and 7. So yeah, you know, pretty much. Like I mentioned earlier, I just wrote a ton of songs. And so I was like, well, what do I do with these? And so I learned that you can literally, if you have access to a computer, you know, there's so many softwares that are free that you can use to produce your own music. And so, you know, I did make the album when I was 11 and like between 11 and 13. So it's very different from the music I make now. But considering that, it's not too bad considering how young I was. So yeah, you know, that was kind of gave me a massive opportunity to really have practice as a songwriter and, you know, just really develop my artistry, I guess. And it allowed me to know what I do and don't want to do in the future as well. So that's kind of what I did with that project. I released it in 2020. I was not on TikTok yet, so I had like nobody listening to it basically, but it's still something I'm proud of. And people still listen to it now, especially since I've grown a community. So it is like my older like baby album that, you know, is always going to be precious to me in some way. But yeah, so it was literally just me wanting to put a project out and just experimenting. And yeah, so that's the beginning of it all.
I love that. So out of all the songs on the album, which one kind of meant the most to you personally?
Yeah. Ooh. Personally, I think my writing was the strongest on Ahead of Our Time, Our Plane Won't Wait, and Middle of July, in terms of lyrically. Like, I'm a big lyric person. Lyrics come first for me. In my like, you know, just in my priority list on my music in terms of like production, lyrics, whatever. Lyrics are most important. So that was, I think, where I put the most effort and where I would be now in terms of lyrics. Like if you were to listen to or read the lyrics or just listen to those songs now, you'd probably be able to tell that I wrote them like based on the stuff I've put out currently. So I would say so. But I definitely, past that project, I've put songs out that I'm definitely more connected to, just because when you're 11, there's not really a lot to write about. Like, I mean, yeah, like this girl on the playground was mean to me. Like, it was just like I didn't really have much to write about. But now, you know, there's a lot of things to write about. So
exactly.
So now my music's much more personal to me in terms of lyrics, just because I truly feel them, as opposed to like just kind of trying to put words on a paper, being poetic, whatever. That was kind of 6 and 7, just drawing influences from the outside world because I had nothing in my own personal world to talk about. So yeah, things just definitely got more personal as I went on.
Yeah, a lot of people like I talk to like usually write things that are more personal. Either
Right.
it's like a little something bad to have in your life, losing a loved one, or just kind of your own experiences, or your friend's experience, or
Yes.
someone they know's experiences. Like it's like a lot of people use their experiences to kind of dive into a song. And once you hit that idea, like a lot of people, like I see, like one person I heard of was Olivia Rodrigo. She basically wrote driver's license or one of her songs in a shower. Like,
Yeah.
you heard one of her, like your lyrics in a shower or something.
Exactly.
Think about her lyrics.
Yeah.
And yourself, like you literally can hear you anywhere at any time.
It absolutely. Honestly, I think the best songs come from that process because I know for a lot of writers, and myself included, like songwriting is kind of our therapy. Like honestly, I probably should go to a therapist, but I don't. And that's like the closest thing I have to I guess caring for my mental health. And it's a healthy way of expression, definitely a lot better than other ways people have to cope with their experiences. And so I think that's where a lot of it comes from. Those feelings manifest inside of us, and then they kind of come out, like Olivia in the shower. I think she said she wrote like "Good for You" in the shower or something.
Yeah,
and it's
something like that.
Yeah, probably better that she wrote that song rather than lighting someone's house on fire like she did in the music video. So yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I grew up with anxiety, depression, and like my mom constantly told me, like, Kylie, you should go see a therapist. Like, you want me to find a therapist for you, someone to talk to you? I'm like, no, not a chance.
Very scary.
I like the last thing I need is to go to a therapist. No chance.
Yeah, it's so funny. Yeah, because I try to promote, like, I'm like, I feel like a hypocrite sometimes because I'll tell people, or I'll tell my community, be like, go seek help if you know you need help, blah, blah, blah. But I'm like, it's so hard to take that first step yourself. Like, it's just so intimidating to like let people in your world and in your head. And so, yeah, I get the feeling. It's like, it just feels really terrifying when you think about it. And so, yeah, for me, I guess my safe way out was like, just put it in a song. And even though a bunch of people are going to hear it now and know everything that your little mind was concocting in the past couple months, it's, for me, somehow it's like being vulnerable on the internet is a lot less scary than being vulnerable for one person, which is so insane. I think so many people are like that.
Yeah, exactly. I'm the person that is like that. Like, me, I personally overreact about every single thing possible. And so like everyone that tells me like, hey, go seek help, do journaling or something. I'm like, no, I don't want to do that. I just use a podcast as my therapy for now.
Exactly.
Or
music
therapy, because like music really helps people. So is singing for myself, music always helps me calm down. Or usually listen to podcasts. I do that all the time. It makes me calm down.
Yeah, your favorite shows. Yeah,
maybe watch shows or movies. Like that's like a big key. Like you don't even go to therapy and do all those things. It's just something that you like to watch. Like if you like watching, let's just say, I'm trying to think of something like Euphoria or Kylie or one of those things. I'm just thinking of some of my childhood shows I watched.
Oh my gosh, my comfort show is still Henry Danger, like forever and always. I will watch that show like forever. Like
I used to love Henry Danger when I was like a little kid.
Comfort show still put it on like literally watching it last night. Like that's my comfort show for sure.
Yeah, my comfort show is Grey's Anatomy, so I watch that.
Oh my gosh,
every single day.
Yeah, my other comfort show that's more recent is Only Murders in the Building on Hulu. Love that show. Love Selena Gomez.
Oh, I'm obsessed with Selena Gomez. Yeah. I was really just listening to her before you started the podcast. I was listening to her daily after Selena Gomez.
But yeah, no, it's like, and I think that's cool too about being in the entertainment industry, since, if you're in the entertainment industry, you're probably consuming a lot of entertainment yourself. And like we were just talking about, for us, our favorite songs or movies or whatever, our big comfort things for us, I think it's cool to be somebody that's producing those comfort items as well. Like, people can listen to your podcast when they, need to get their mind off of something. Or for me, most of the songs I've been writing about are very mental health focused. And, they're kind of turning into things people go to when they kind of need something to get off their mind or to just feel like someone relates to them. And I think like when you've been on the other side of it and you've used entertainment and stuff to help cope with things, it's really cool to know what that feels like and know that you're doing that for other people. So that's like, yeah, I mean, it's one of the favorite things about what I'm doing now is knowing that it's like, it has a bigger purpose than myself.
Yeah, exactly. Like, that's seriously what I love doing. Because I literally, when I'm doing a podcast, I receive like dozens of messages on Snapchat from people in my area or Instagram or just family. I recently I just got a text from someone that kind of lives in my kind of side of county or whatever. I was like, the podcast gives me confidence. Like, thank you for your podcast. I'm like, this is what it's all about. Like, you can never really think how much impact it's really making on people's lives until you see someone text you and be like, thank you for what you do, and you really need confidence. And I'm thinking to myself, like, you guys give me confidence to myself from what you guys are saying. Like, that's what it's all about.
There's like nothing more rewarding than that, because I mean, like, honestly, it's so like, it feels surreal when you see those comments or those messages, because you're like, I still am that person that is also like on the fan side of things, and you know, knows what it's like to really enjoy a piece of art. And especially when that person replies to you, it's like the coolest thing ever. And I think Olivia Rodrigo actually just said this, I think in her Driving Home to You documentary, and how she was able to take something like so painful and turn it into something so beautiful and like great for everybody else, not even just herself. And I think that's like the coolest thing about music and art and entertainment is it really is like taking real life experiences and turning them into good things.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And like, I just love, like, I heard she was like a big fan of Taylor Swift.
Right. Yes.
And now she got to meet her, and I'm like, thinking to myself, like, she's living out my dreams. Like, she's
how does it feel to live my dreams? Exactly. No, that was so cool for her. Full circle moment. Like, I can only imagine. And now she's gonna be that for another artist. Like, when an artist, like, if I got to meet her, I'd be dying. Like, literally, I might have to go to the emergency room after that. But yeah, so it's like, it's cool to see the next generation of artists, you know, rising into that position that Taylor was and still is for so many of us. Like, I mean, I can't. I wonder how anybody couldn't be influenced by Taylor Swift at this point. How many genres she's covered and what she's done. But yeah,
she literally covered everything, like pop, country, like everything.
She just needs a rock album now, and I'm sure she's gonna give it to us.
Album, or like maybe like a little jazz or just.
Yeah, and she'll get there. You know,
she'll get there next couple of years. I literally would die if she made like a little country pop album and like this in one.
If I got a rock album from Taylor Swift, no one's allowed to talk to me for a month. Like,
seriously,
that's it for it. It's over. Like, that's it.
Yeah, exactly.
You'll never see me again. No.
Yeah, seriously, you don't need to talk to me again. My dreams are fulfilled. You don't need to bother me again.
Yeah.
Do you have anyone that you look up to as a singer-songwriter, or just kind of in general?
Yes. So, of course, the Queen Taylor, forever and always. But I mean, I feel like everyone says that, but I mean, it's true. You know, I mean, she is the reason I decided to even, you know, play guitar. I was like, oh, she played it. You know, the first album that I ever just like fell in love with was 1989. So that was a big deal for me. So she really has been such a big part of my childhood and, you know, now being an artist. But some other artists that I'm also heavily inspired by are Conan Gray, Halsey, Tate McRae, and of course, Miss Olivia Rodrigo. But yeah, no, like I'm really, really drawn to Tate's music recently though, just because I think sonically she's just so unique. Like, I really, really always loved You Broke Me First, and I know that makes me a basic fan, but it's such a good song. And it's been really cool to see her sound evolve recently. So I really, really love her, and Gracie Abrams. I mean, who doesn't love her? But yeah.
Exactly. Did you get tickets to see Olivia Rodrigo's tour, or you didn't?
No, but I did go to Conan Gray's tour on opening night in Dallas, which was so much fun. I am going to see Halsey though.
Yeah, I love that. I saw like Olivia Rodrigo's like whole tour sold out in like minutes.
Literally. Oh my God. The first night she was playing, I think it was in Portland. I was stalking her tagged photos on Instagram. Like, once it knew it was like, I think this concert started at like 7 p.m. their time. So once it was like 9 p.m. Central, I was like going through all the tag photos because I knew people were going to be posting clips from the concert. I'm like, this is history. I need to see this.
Yeah, and did you see the intro though?
Literally so sick. I loved it.
Seriously. And you like she literally got me in first episode. I'm like, this is sick.
Yeah, she's just so freaking iconic. Like, honestly, I love how she just, you know, isn't afraid to delve into different sounds, isn't afraid to, you know, say, like, she doesn't have the Disney curse on her where she has to censor herself. Like, she does a great job, like, just being authentic and, you know, really showing what she's got. And I just know it. Her sophomore album's gonna wreck everyone. I just know it.
Yeah, right? I couldn't really
I'm kind of scared.
Yeah, like any song she drops, it just becomes a hit. Like Driver's License. That was her first ever basically song, I think. And
Right. I think it was like her first independent from Disney. Because I know she did I think it was All I Want. Yeah, All I Want was one she did with High School Musical, but that was like her debut. Driver's License was basically her debut single, and who else would have, like, nobody has ever come onto the scene like that. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Literally.
A lot of A-listers, like Jonas Brothers, like Sophie Turner.
Yeah, it makes it
started giving her shout outs and stuff. I'm like, that's literally my dream. Like, like you're getting all these shout outs from like my idols and people that I love. I'm like, you're living my dream. Like, that's what I want. It's like, I want people to know who I am and all those things. I'm just so jealous.
Yes, literally. It's like, it's honestly, it's just so much fun though at the same time, because it's like when you see people winning and you see people doing that, it's like, it's just another reinforcer that it's totally possible. For me personally, I find that especially with independent artists, because, you know, obviously Olivia has massive team. She was, you know, already pretty well known from Disney, from Bizarre Park, from High School Musical. Yeah. So but what's been really fun is seeing some of my artist friends that are like indie artists have major wins, because it's just like literally just shows that anything is possible, and that, you know, if someone on your level went and did that, then you can absolutely do the same thing. And yeah, it's just so motivating. Like, I honestly, I stalk my friends' TikToks accounts and stuff, because I'm like, you guys are killing it. I just love it.
Yeah, that's how I am. I was talking to some of my friends like TikTok and they're like, you're killing it. Like, that's
exactly.
You're like, you deserve all of this. Like,
it's great. Like, yeah.
Attention. Exactly.
And then it's like when one person wins, you know, when your friend wins, we all win at the end of the day. It's great. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
And so, like, this question is kind of similar to the last question, but like, if you could collab with any singer-songwriter, who would it be?
So, you know, obviously I'm going to say Taylor Swift, but, you know, if I were to, you know, other artists as well, for like solid year now, the first fan base on TikTok that like was pretty nice to me and like supported me when I had like under 1,000 followers and stuff, was Conan Gray's fans. Like, they were the sweetest people ever. And when I was at his concert too, his fans are just everything, like sweetest people. Like, when I've been to concerts in the past, some people are very shovey, not polite whatsoever. His fans are so nice. Nobody's bothering anybody. Like, I love it. So I would like die to collaborate with him. I think we would make such a cool song. And same with like Halsey and Tate. I think they'd be great. Like 100%, I would die. Like, for sure. But some artists that maybe actually could happen for me right now. There's this artist, Ashley Sienna. She's amazing. I love her so much. She makes pop bops. So I would love to collaborate with her. Isabel La Rosa. She's been doing really well on TikTok. She makes really cool stuff as well. But yeah, just so many people. I mean, I could go on. Yeah.
Personally, I can really go on. Me too. Like, I'm like, people will ask me like, who are you dream people to interview? I'm thinking myself like, everybody. I can go on all day long.
Yeah. Like, do you really want to know the answer to that? Because we'll be here a while.
Yeah, we'll be here for a while. Personally, we'll actually be here for a while.
Yeah.
But personally, for me, like for me personally, it's like Gina Davis, Hugh Jackman, Patrick Dempsey, Kate Walsh, Ellen Pompeo, and of course J-Lo. Of course, like they literally are people that I literally want to be. Like, right. They, like, inspire. Like, there's a reason why I'm doing this podcast in the first place.
Yes.
Really, not gonna lie to you, I literally send emails to their people like every week trying to get them on the podcast. Like, I was like, I won't be happy until I get to have them on the podcast.
Right. No, literally, it's like, honestly, I've seen that viral TikTok recently of like the Be Delusional TikTok.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, that is like, I live my life in delusion. Like, I've had people like, I'll fake videos with my song being like, once I release my next songs, it's gonna be, great, and I'm gonna be your next favorite artist, blah blah blah. And people are like, yeah, right. And I'm like, I will be delusional, and y'all can be delusional with me if you want, because it's fun, and it's like, I also too, like, recently have been trying to get Squishmallows to collaborate with me, because I'm such a Squishmallows fan. And I'm like, you know what? It sounds crazy, but I'm going to keep pushing for it, because why not? I'm like, I'm a big believer, and if you say it's going to happen, it will happen.
Yeah,
and
that's where I am. I'm like,
Exactly.
I'm like very confident. I'm like, I don't care how long it takes. I'm like, I'm going to emailing every week. I don't care.
Right.
In your schedule. I don't care.
Exactly. Like, yeah. And like, it's like, if you don't even try, obviously it's not going to happen. So I'm like, if you literally just have the mindset of like, oh, I'm just waiting for it. Like, I'm putting in the work, and I know it's going to happen. So it's like, that's why I say things like, oh, I'm going to be your next favorite artist, or this next song is going to blow me up, or whatever, because I'm like, I need to put out that energy in the universe. And it's worked for me in the past. Like, I've said before, like last year, my goal was to get like 10,000 TikTok followers, and I ended up with 20,000 at the end of the year. So I was like, you know what? It doesn't sound like a lot to some people, but that's progress for me.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm like, and it's more than I predicted. So I'm like, if I, say something, and I'm going to do it, and that's just my mentality. Because I'm like, I have to say I will do it for me to actually really get the gumption to go and like really push for it. And I mean, when you're putting good energy out there, and you're putting good karma out there, and you're working hard, I think it's possible for anybody. So for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. And I literally
sending those emails.
Exactly. I literally just met Hugh Jackman last month. I missed
I saw that.
And I was like, he came up to me. He's my idol. Like, he basically made me love dance, and made me love the industry. And I was like, because I went to see his Broadway show in New York City. I've been waiting to see that show for years. So I get so excited. I went outside the stage door, and when they came out, I just remember starting shaking so bad.
My gosh.
I'm gonna pass out. And I asked myself, like, can someone squeeze my hand, make sure it's not a dream?
Right. Yeah. Literally.
And like, I remember him coming closer, and I'm thinking to myself, like, I want to cry. I want to cry. Yeah. I'm thinking to myself, like, Kylie, snap out of it. You don't want to cry.
It's your chance. Yes.
Yeah. It's like, Kylie, you don't want to cry in front of Hugh Jackman. Else you're gonna regret it for the rest of your life. I mean, you might not regret it for the rest of your life. Something might come up with you crying in front of Hugh Jackman, but then at the end of the day, it's something that you would not want to do. And so I was like, didn't know what to say. I was like, can I get a picture with you? Yeah, of course. I didn't say any other thing. I was thinking to myself, like, Kylie, you could ask on the podcast, but here's what's going quick. I didn't have time to ask, and I literally tweeted him like a couple weeks ago, be like, you please come on the podcast, please.
Literally. Yes. Oh my goodness. That's so funny. Like, I've had that kind of similar experience, like with, I mean, Hugh Jackman's like an A-list celebrity, like A-list. That's huge. I've had it with some of like, smaller celebrities that I like really look up to. I accidentally ran into Grace Vanderwaal when she performed on the Imagine Dragons tour a few years ago. Like, I basically, long story short, my family and I had the VIP area because of Coastal Credit Union. Like, if you were a member of Coastal Credit Union, you had access to that. So it was completely accidental. And Grace is just chilling in this area with like her bodyguard and her friend. And so I'm like, I was with my cousin. I'm like, Nathan, there is no way that's Grace Vanderwaal. And it was right after her set. And so I was, same situation where I was like, can I get a picture with you? And she was so nice about it. And I had a similar situation with, I don't know if you've ever heard of Kelly Stamps, but she's a YouTuber. I love her. And it was so random, but she ended up coming to my house to deliver tiramisu. Like, tiramisu's her thing. And it was so random and so accidental, last minute. And then before you know it, she was giving me jewelry from her PR launch with this jewelry brand, coming, doing that as well, which was crazy. So, I mean, it's just so funny. Like, when that stuff happens, you're like, no way that happened.
Exactly. Like, I had an experience before COVID happened, like January 2020. I don't know if you've ever heard of her, but Indiana Messenger or something like that. Her name's Indiana, but I can't pronounce her last name. And I was in LA for a couple of days. Like, I was over there for a weekend or whatever. a Dodgers fan fest or whatever, and that night I went to go see a John Sparks concert because like I was in there playing at this like small venue or whatever. And my dad was like on the flight there. My dad's like, "Oh, they're playing Joe Sparks or playing in LA." I'm like, "I need to go." I'm obsessed with Joe Sparks concert.
Exactly.
That's it. Like if Joe Sparks are performing where I'm probably gonna be at around that area, I'm going. I don't care.
Exactly. Yeah.
So like when I was in line to get in, I literally looked around. I just looked at her closely. I was like, "Is that Indiana? Is that Indiana?"
Yeah, you're like, "Is she real?"
Yeah,
she's real looking like. Yeah.
I wasn't sure if it was a look-alike or like what. Yeah. Once I figured out it was her, I was like, "Dad, that's Indiana this year. I love her. Like that's her. That's what I used to watch her at the time. I used to watch her videos, watch her Chicken Girls. Like I used to do all that stuff. I was like, I just ran. I was like, "Dad, come with me. I need to talk to her." So I was like, I went by her. She was getting tickets at this thing or something. And I was like, when she got that, I was like, "Hi, Indiana, can I get a picture with you?" And she was like, "Of course." We were talking for a couple minutes, and my dad was like, and my dad was like, what do you do? I'm like, thinking to myself, like, God help me, don't ask someone that.
That is so embarrassing.
And then my dad was like, she was freaking out, like she loves you, and she basically like knew who you were and was very excited. She didn't want to be. She's like, "Oh," I was thinking to myself, like, God help me right now.
But it was so funny though. I mean, you're gonna laugh at that forever.
I think to myself like, "Oh, that's a fond memory I remember," and I still laugh about it. At the time, I was like, "Oh, why do you say that?" But then
exactly. All right, go over there now. Go over there.
Do your own thing. I don't care. Just let me do my own thing. Like I'm in LA. That's LA's my type of people. Like I like LA's basically my dream place.
Are you gonna move out there eventually?
I'm hoping next couple of years. I'm hoping to go college out there. Something like
that's what I'm doing. Yes. Oh my gosh. Well, hey, we might run into each other then.
Maybe.
Yeah, I was just out there for a music conference and some other things, and every time I'm out there, I'm like, this is where I'm supposed to be. Like, it's just always that feeling. And it's so funny too, because I'm, as you can relate to, with being on online school or homeschool, you don't really have like a lot of friends locally or anything. So most of my friends are from the music industry, and they're out in Los Angeles, and I'm here in Texas. Like, I don't know anybody here. And like, so
that's why like I live in Pennsylvania. I really know no one here, and that's you're gonna say something like 2 people. I'm like, everyone I know is basically in like Tennessee, California. I'm like, I at least live out down there, so I actually be with my people. That's living sunny, like snowy, mountain Pennsylvania of all things.
Exactly. Yeah. No, I'm like, growing up in the South, I could never live up north. Like when I was considering colleges and stuff, I was like, hey, maybe New York City, maybe Nashville. No, I need to be where it's warm. Like
that's how I am.
I suffered. I moved here to Texas about a year ago, and we moved right during the winter storm. I don't know if y'all ever saw that. It was all over the news because Texas was literally destroyed from it because we do not know how to handle cold weather. And I was dying. Like, I mean, I would not survive up north. Like, I love New York.
I hate cold weather. It's supposed to snow tonight.
Oh my God.
I just look out the window. It's raining right now.
Yeah. No, crazy. It's right now.
It's literally time. Like one day, in Pennsylvania, like it changes every day. One day it's sunny, very warm. The next day it's rainy. The next day it's snowy, freezing. Like you don't know what they're gonna get in Pennsylvania.
Yeah. I lived in Colorado for a few years and love the state, but man, it gets cold. Nah, not for me. I get like seasonal depression and stuff. I would die. So I'm like, I need sun and I need warmth.
Yeah, and like I literally like my cousin. I literally obsessed with Florida and California because I just love all the palm trees and the warm weather, the beach.
Yeah,
like I'm obsessed. Like if I can live anywhere, I'll live in Florida or California.
Right, absolutely.
And I literally have family down in Florida, so I'm like, I remember like last year, last October, I went down to Florida for my brother's baseball tournament down in where was it, Fort Lauderdale or something.
Yeah.
And like I was like, oh, I'm okay. This is where I am. This is where I need to be. I was outside, just kind of sitting down, just kind of chilling, living my dream life. And like my cousins kind of drove a couple hours to come visit us for the night.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, and I try to sneak up with them because I didn't want to stay with my brother and my dad the whole time because they wanted to do everything. I'm like, I don't be stuck with them the whole time. I don't see my cousin a lot. I'm like, and I remember when we were walking, we got breakfast that morning. I just remember us getting up, and I see my son, and I walked up to my cousin. I was like, Rob, can I come with you? Can I come back to your house with you? And I was like, he was like, how are you gonna do that? And I'm like, I know about ways, I have ways. And I literally saw a testament, like be like, I was like, I want to live in Florida because I was like, I don't care if I have to live in my cousin's car. Like, I don't care.
Literally, that's how I am. Like, I would live anywhere in LA. Like, literally,
yeah, seriously. And I remember I looked at my dad, and I saw my cousin texted my dad. He was like, is your daughter with you? She tried to sneak out with me before I left. I'm like,
oh my gosh.
I was like, thank God. I kind of stuck back the car just when they got to the house and be like, hey guys, how you doing?
Exactly. I'm moving in. Hello.
You guys didn't do anything now.
You're moving. Yeah.
Don't make me
you won't know I'm here. Yeah, exactly.
I mean, just stay on the couch watching TV the whole time. Be like, hey, how you doing?
Yeah, exactly. No, it's like, I mean, honestly, and it was so much fun too. Like, I'm really glad I got to I pretty much spent most of my childhood in North Carolina. So solid place to live growing up. I was living my little Outer Banks dreams.
Exactly.
But yeah, so it was, that was great. And Texas is interesting, but at least it's warm. So I'll take it. But yeah, it's kind of like, you're kind of caught between terrified of living on your own, but also exciting to go to that dream spot, because for me, I'm about 1 year away from graduation, so I'll be leaving soon, and I'm an only child, so I'm very, very close with my parents. So I'm low-key terrified to leave them, and they're gonna be a mess when I'm gone. But at the same time, I'm I just cannot wait to get my little booty out in LA. I just can't.
Every day I think to myself, I can't wait to graduate and go to LA. I just can't.
Exactly.
I always think that every single day. I think to myself, I'm already looking for colleges out in LA.
If you need recommendations, let me know, because I've done the research.
Yeah, I look at colleges every single day. I think to myself, let me look at some colleges out in California. So I can go to California and live down there.
Yes. Is there any ones you have in mind specifically, or are you still very broad looking?
I'm the two things in California I'm looking at is UCLA and USC. Those are the ones I'm working at, or University of California, Berkeley. That's my three I'm looking at right now. Nice.
Yeah. I've been looking at some of the other smaller schools, because I like small schools. And I'm I'm not gonna get into USC or UCLA. So but yeah, I'm looking at places like Chapman. It's in Orange County. I've visited all these schools, super cute and just fun, so much fun. LMU is in pretty close to LAX actually, and it's I've heard it's actually kind of got a similar vibe to the USC vibe and whatever. So definitely recommend looking into it, because it's a nice school.
I'll take a look at it.
It's real great. I got to say, from the tour, you've got to check it out. And then even the Cal State schools, there's so many of those as well, and the other UC schools. And there's even tiny ones in Burbank, Woodbury, and I love Burbank. I was just out there. It is so much fun. That's where all the movie studios are.
Yeah.
It's literally over the hill from Hollywood.
Yeah. By Hollywood sign and all.
Right behind the Hollywood sign. It's great. I love it.
I've been there twice. I was this is my people. This is where I want to be.
Yes, because I live in an area in Dallas that's I don't know how much people know about the Dallas culture, but it's just very preppy and very just not super chill or laid back, if that makes sense. And it's very high strung. And it's just, it's the vibe in California is much different. It's, very laid back. People kind of just do what they want to do. People don't judge you for dressing a certain way, because everyone could be somebody there. People, it's literally the guy that looks like he just rolled out of bed could literally be Post Malone or somebody. Literally.
Exactly.
It's
everywhere you might see a celebrity down in LA.
Yeah. Meanwhile, I live in the city in Dallas, and if I walk out in certain outfits here, it's girl, why are you out right now? If I'm sick or something, or if I'm just lounging out that day, it's like I'm rolling into certain areas here and it's just like people just give you the up and down look and I'm like, don't look at me.
Yeah, like, don't look at me, don't mind me.
But in LA, you can look like anything and nobody cares. It's great.
Yeah, and I literally want to surf. Like, I love the beach. And I'm like,
yes.
I literally would die to surf in LA. Like, seriously.
Yeah. I like looking at
that. LA, and I heard the water is cold in California.
Yeah, you know what's funny? So I can attest to both coasts since I've lived on, or I haven't lived on both, but and it's so funny. I talk like I've lived in California before, like I really know what it's like. But you know, when I've been before and comparing it to like the East Coast beaches, I find that North Carolina has like better water in terms of like if you're gonna swim or if you're, I don't know about surfing. I don't know if the waves are big enough, but I do know for like terms of comfort, it's like the water's a little bit warmer and the sand's like not as cluttered with like seaweed and rocks and whatever. But I do have to say the views on the West Coast though, there's nothing like it. There's nothing
exactly like I feel like Florida and California are very similar in terms of the beach and all those things.
Yeah, exactly. Like they're just, that's the thing for sure. And it's like I'm a, you know, I love North Carolina, grew up there. It's like my home state, I guess, but I will never deny that the West Coast beaches, the views. Come on now. Come on.
Like I literally like every time I go to California to see pictures I'm thinking to myself like I'm falling in love with it all over again. Like I just want to be
there. I flew into the Burbank airport last time instead of LAX, and it was it's one of those tiny airports. So you like walk off the plane and then into the airport. Like there's not even a walkway. Like you actually have to deboard the plane from the back. And then I'm walking off. I'm seeing like all the hills in the background, the trees, the houses. I'm just like, it's great. Like I'm like, honestly, people can hate on California all they want, but I will forever stand. Like
seriously,
it's great. I'm like, honestly, I feel like the people that say like, oh, it's just stuck up people that think they're all famous and whatever, or, people just complaining about, like thinking the people are like not nice or whatever. I'm like, you really haven't been here. Like,
seriously.
Here? Like literally, it's so funny. And I try to I tell my cousin because he's very anti-California. And I'm like, Nathan, you would love it here. I know you. You love the outdoors. You love like just having a good time, just a relaxing environment. You would love it here. Everybody that says that California is just full of stuck-up, snooty people have clearly have probably only been to like Beverly Hills, maybe. And like clearly you haven't been to the other parts of LA. Like,
like have you been to Pasadena? Like have you been to the beaches? Have you actually
have you been to Laguna Beach?
Seriously.
Have you been to
all these skate parks, the beaches, and all those
have you been to Palm Springs? Like literally.
Seriously.
Literally, I love Palm Springs. I would I'm trying to convince my parents that once my dad retires and stuff that like they can move out there or something, or either in Orange County or Palm Springs, just because they wouldn't want to do LA because of how busy it is. But I'm like, come on.
It's so bad in California.
It is. And I'm like, and it's expensive. I mean, I'll never deny that. It is so expensive. Like, and that you definitely have to be in a certain position of privilege to be able to retire there comfortably. But I'm like, come on, just, at the end of the day, I'm like, I think the experiences are worth it. And, so I just really hope that I can get them to do that. Because
my parents wouldn't do that. But my parents live in Florida than live in California. Because my parents love Florida, especially my dad.
Yeah.
He says, I can't wait to live in Florida. And like, I just want to live in Florida. I'm like,
well, why not now?
I'm telling you. Like, I usually say all the time, let's go live in Florida. Let's go visit Florida. Let's find houses in Florida. And he'd be like,
exactly.
And then he'd be like, I don't know. Then the day later, he'd be like, let's move to Florida. And I'm like, what have I been telling you the last
literally
month?
That is so funny. My mom is the same way. It's like pretty much my dad's the practical one. So he's the one that's like, no, it's too expensive. It's, it's just not, my job's not going to let me do that. Like, there's no way. And then there's my mom who's like, maybe I'll just move out with you when you go to college. Because she's the one that comes with me the most. My dad's very busy and he can't come a lot of times. So she's the one that's always out there with me. And she's like falling in love with it as well. So she's the one that's like, Harry, like, let's go, let's move there once Rini's out there. Once you retire, we're moving there. And he's like, no. It's just, he's so practical. And it's like, we love him for it. And he probably keeps us out of a lot of trouble because of it. But like, at the same time, I'm like, stop being practical. Like, you're coming.
I'm the person that's like down for anything. If someone says, let's go to Iceland or what, it's like, I'm a very travel person. I love traveling.
Yeah.
So I'm like, if someone says like, let's go to Iceland, let's go to Florida, let's go to California, or let's travel or do something, I'm like, let's go. I'm down. Like, I'm always down for anything.
Yeah.
If someone asks me to do something, I'm like, let's go. I'm down. Whatever. Like, if you want, like, I'm always down to do something, no matter how fun or not it is. I'm like, okay, let's do that. Like, that's how
exactly.
Like, let's just make some memories. That's the most important things for time with your family and friends. Like, that's really the most important thing. Is try something new. Like, I was literally scared of heights. So I've always been scared of heights. And so I'm fine with planes. Like, I'm fine with planes. I'm usually like roller coasters or something that goes high up. I'm like, no, that's not for me.
Absolutely not. No, my parents, like my family and I, we went to like Dollywood once in Tennessee. I couldn't go on one single ride. I only went on a few in Disney World. Like, I am terrified of anything that's going to throw me around. Like,
I'm fine with anything, but I get dizzy very quick. Like, I
vomit very quickly.
I get car sick too. Like, I just, like, anything I get scared a little dizzy or car sick from.
Yes, no, really. It's like, it's for sure. That is something. Absolutely.
Seriously.
Funny too, because like literally it's somehow our vacation plans for the summer went from we're going to Vancouver to we're going to Austin, which is literally just a few hours away from where I am. But I'm like, you know what? It's like, it's still an adventure. It's still going to be so much fun and it's still a getaway, but it's so funny. Like, we went from like thinking, okay, Austin, no, Northern California, no, Aspen, Colorado, no, New England, no. And that's like, somehow we end up like literally just going to be doing like a few hour road trip. Like, that's where our minds are at, just all over the place.
Yeah, me and my dad always kind of plan things last minute. Like, me and my dad love baseball and all those things. Like, me and my family are kind of big sports people and everything. And me and my dad always plan last minute trips either to Pittsburgh or to Boston or Philly. Like, my family's a big Phillies fan, so we would go in like day before a baseball game or something, and you'd be like, hey, you want to go down to the Phillies game? I'll be like, sure, why not? Like,
no, literally. Next time I'm in Pittsburgh, I'm gonna have to message you because you might be there at the same time. We'll have to get coffee.
Seriously, I'm like, either I can ask my dad to drive me down to do something. I'm literally going down there probably in May.
It's awesome.
You probably catch me down there, but like, seriously. Like, I literally joke with my dad, and like last year in like June, I was like, my dad's big Phillies fan. I was remember sitting outside and be like, let's go to, I didn't joke with him. I was like, hey, you want to go to Boston this weekend or something? And I just took that as like a little joke. I want to go to Boston. And he just like, look at me and goes, actually, the Phillies are playing the Red Sox this weekend.
Oh my God.
And like, your two favorite players play for Boston. So he's like, we can go. I was like, are you kidding me right now?
Yeah. No, I literally miss that about the East Coast because you could drive to so many different cities and states like so easily without a flight. And like in North Carolina, the same thing. Like, we could go to DC, Atlanta, South Carolina so easily. And now in Texas, because the state is so freaking large, like, you cannot go anywhere outside of Texas in a car like less than a day. Like, it's crazy unless you're going to go to like Oklahoma or something from where I'm at. But yeah, so it's like, I do miss the road trips because it was so easy to do stuff like that on the East Coast. Like, it was so easy. I miss the days of just going to DC for a couple of days or going to Charleston. Like, I miss it. Like, that
was just literally North Carolina. Like, I was literally in North Carolina in February and March, and like, I have to like literally drive up and down in Virginia, and Virginia is such a large state. And so like, it takes like forever to get to Virginia.
I did the drive a lot. Yeah. From North Carolina to Pittsburgh a lot for Christmas every year. Like, Yeah, because we were like, we don't, especially with the weather and stuff, we're like, we do not want to deal with flights. And, that time of year is so crazy with cancellations and whatnot. So we're like, we're just going to drive every time. But it is a tedious drive for sure.
Yeah, and I'm obsessed with Washington, D.C. Like, I just love the culture of Washington, D.C. Like, if I don't go to college in California or Florida, I'm going to college in D.C. That is
so much fun.
It's so in the last 2 times, like, I really went to North Carolina. I'm like, Mom, Dad, can we go to DC for a couple hours? Like, can we please go to DC?
It's so much fun.
Like, you can't go there for a couple of hours. You have to go there for a day. Like, go for a couple of days and look at everything. I'm like, I don't care. I want to go to DC. Like, please let me go to DC.
Fun. Yeah, I literally, like, even if you're not doing the touristy stuff, it's like, it's just fun to walk around there. Like,
yeah, like, I went there years ago, but I don't really remember that because, like, I went there when I was, like, so young that I still remember anything.
Oh my God, it's so funny because we went there just for the fun of it, I think like late 2020. And so things were still pretty closed up and stuff. But what was hilarious is we were just going out for some food and Nancy Pelosi just walks out of her like giant caravan of like, crazy security and stuff. And she's just there. And I'm like thinking, that's like a massive politician right there.
Yeah, she's like Speaker of the House, third in line.
I'm like, it's so funny because Nathan's obsessed. My cousin is obsessed with security. So like he knows what, fancy security looks like in terms of like the bulletproof cars, the lineup, like,
I'm obsessed with politics. So I know everything. Like like if I was a journalist, I'll be a politician. Like I'm obsessed with all of politics.
So yeah, so cool. It was just so funny because it was like, oh my God, like he's like, that's Nancy. Like he knew that somebody important was going to come out. And it was so funny because we were so clueless. Yeah. Like this guy, I guess he was like, because it was her apartment that we were standing outside of. We had no clue. Yeah. And so it was his apartment or her apartment. And we like, this guy is like, you guys need to move out of the way. And we're like, okay, whatever. We didn't know what was going on. And then we figured that out. Immediately once like just the line of black cars just
someone if you
it's someone important.
Cars coming, it's someone big, like a
right
House, vice president, like something big.
Yeah, I'm like, this is gonna be somebody important. And then he sees like her standard hair and it was just like, that's Nancy. It was so crazy.
Yeah, now it's like I have a big thing in politics. Like if I see someone on TV, I'm like, oh, I know who this person is. Like
yeah.
Even if I see someone I don't even like, I'll be like,
exactly. You just know who they are.
Like even if it's like we see like I'm trying to think of someone, John F. Kennedy, for example.
Right.
Like even though like I know like a lot of people in politics, I know I can literally see someone in front of me that in Washington D.C. I'll be like, oh, there's John F. Kennedy, or there's Joe Biden right there. Like, like, oh, I know every single one in politics.
There's Obama. Like, yeah, crazy.
Yeah, people think I'm crazy, but like that's like a thing in life. It's like how people like a celebrity. It's like the same thing.
Well, and I think our generation too is becoming more apt to it, like especially with the crazy political events of 2020. Like it's like people are becoming more and more aware of like who everybody is, what's their role, what's their responsibility, what power do they have? Like for me personally, like in Texas, we have some insane politics that happen here. So you kind of have to learn who these people are so you can learn what's going on and how that affects you and how that affects other people. So it's crazy. I'm like, it's like, honestly, I think it's so important that people, normalize prioritizing that. Cause like, you need to know who's making the laws around here and stuff. Like you need to know who's determining your life. Like, it's so important.
Use control of your power. Like, we need
exactly. Yeah.
And so like, since kind of the quarantine started back in like 2020, how much do you think has like changed in terms of songwriting since kind of the pandemic started?
So I think songwriting, it's, I think my mom's coming in here.
Hey, your Chapman thing just started.
I know, I'm gonna be running late for that. Yeah, sorry. But yeah, thanks. So for songwriting, pretty much like I think a lot of it is just virtual has happened. I've done a ton of virtual sessions. For me, I entered the industry in 2020. So it was very interesting entering a virtual world, but it kind of was in my favor because of my location. Like I was literally on the opposite coast. So it was kind of more realistic to do things online anyway for me. So yeah, but I was writing pretty much by myself up until this year. So I've just started delving into the world of working with other writers.
Yeah.
So yeah, but it pretty much, I haven't even done one in-person session yet. But I'm hoping I can pretty soon. So yeah, just a lot of virtual. And I think people too, the songwriting like topics have changed more. I think people are a lot more, we just talked about the political events in 2020. I think people are very politically charged in their writing now.
Yeah.
I think of albums like Folklore, the song Epiphany on it, all about the pandemic and stuff, just really deep stuff. So many songs came out with the Black Lives Matter movement. And just a lot of like really hard topics have been, brought into songwriting that a lot of people didn't hit as much before. And there was always been, political songs all the way back into like the 60s and on, but there's definitely seen a resurgence of that, just because lives have been changed so much. But yeah, I think also with mental health, those themes have been coming up a lot more because the pandemic caused a lot of people to do a lot of internal thinking. And I think that's been huge. So definitely thematics have changed and just the way we do it.
Yeah, absolutely. So my question for an interview is, what is some advice for younger generations that like to be a singer-songwriter one day?
Yeah, so honestly, I think the best thing you can do is to just start. Literally just start, because it's so easy to be intimidated by the industry, by what you think you have to be to, be a part of it. Like everyone thinks they're not talented enough, or that their location is stopping them, or their resources. And, no one's going to deny that there's definitely certain privileges that come with being in a big city or having supportive parents or whatever. But literally, like, start. If you have a phone, post yourself, like post your songs, and things will happen so fast. It is crazy. Like, especially in the world of TikTok and stuff, there's no reason not to start. So I think if you start and you're consistent with it, things will happen. You're only going to get better, and you're going to grow it inevitably, and you're going to find out what you like and what you don't like and what you want to do. So I definitely would encourage that, to just start and be consistent.
Yeah, exactly. I really do recommend that. I seriously love that. So I just want to thank you so much for coming on the podcast. It was so great to speak with you. I absolutely love this conversation. We'll definitely speak soon for sure. Thanks so much for coming on.
Thank you so much for having me. And I'm very happy to even been invited on here. So thank you for having me. And yeah, I would love to talk again sometime for sure.
Of course. Thank you so much. We'll definitely speak soon for sure. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Of course.
All right. Speak with you soon.
Bye.